If you like growing food, then you might like eating food. And if you like eating food, then you might like cooking food. Well, go check out the first season of Backyard Kitchen, available on Tubi for free. Available on all smart TVs and online. That's TUBI, all free, first season of Backyard Kitchen. You need to save money in your garden, and extreme couponing is the only way to go. I'm telling you. That's what we're going to talk about right here on the Backyard Gardens podcast.
To have a good harvest, one must plant good seeds and must also use the right kind of fertilizer. The carrots have grown large and firm. How good they will taste.
Welcome to the Backyard Gardens podcast, where we talk about all things gardening. We're your hosts, Ben and Batavia, and you can find me gardening in the country.
And you'll find me gardening in the city. Get ready as we dig deep into this
wonderful world of gardening, where we learn to grow and grow for change. Speaking of couponing, if you guys would like to support the show, check out the link below for the Patreon. We would love to have you join us, and it would help us to stop searching for promo codes so we could try and keep this thing on the road. So thank you so much ahead of time. And you'll get 2 episodes that you don't get on your normal podcasting app. So check us out. Coupons, Batavia, this is your jam.
It's more than just coupons.
It is.
It's couponing. It's discount codes, right? If you want to take advantage of, still have some time to get some of this cool Backyard Garden swag using discount code
BYG Spring.
I think we're right on the cusp of it. It's about to expire, right?
Yeah, and the water bottles are legit, just so you know.
Yeah. And, bulk buying. So these are all methods where if you're going to spend some money, get the most out of your money, right? So starting with coupons, which are still totally a thing.
They're getting more scarce, though. They
are getting more scarce. So I've shared this before, but it's such a critical tip. I have a Home Depot credit card. Probably shouldn't say that, but have a Home Depot credit card. And I receive, and I use it frequently. And I say that because maybe this is the reason why we're talking a few times a year. I receive a 10% off coupon. They send it via email now, as well as an actual kind of postcard coupon if you spend $299 or above, right? So I mean, that's a big chunk of money. And so what that does, though, is that allows me to say, I'm going to think about my purchases from Home Depot, and I'm going to put them all together, and I'm going to use that $299 spend and get 10% off. Now, unfortunately for Chicago, that's basically your sales tax. But hey, if I can save it, I can save it. I try to share this every chance I get when I talk about this store in particular. And I do shop in other places. But one of my stores, home improvement stores I go to, Menards, they often have like this 11% off, right? 11% off of everything. 11, 1. Right. And so their process is a rebate. Their process for that is, mail in the portion of the receipt. You'll get a gift card for that amount, in 3 or 5 years. They send it back more often than that. But what I found out is that Home Depot matches that. Right. So the period of time that Menards has that 11% off, it never fails. Home Depot has a 11%. So Google Home Depot 11% rebate. And you basically submit that information electronically versus having to mail in the info. And now you can either receive a electronic gift card for 11% off of that receipt total, or an actual hard copy mailed to you. And I can't wait to go into Home Depot like a big baller with all of my gift cards. Like, that's on you. That's my plan anyway.
Yeah.
Now Lowe's, again, thinking about some of the larger home improvement stores, I've asked a few times and they don't seem to go along with that program. So there's that. I'm going to pause there because, again, I get amped about this stuff. So that's kind of
extreme
coupon approach. Yeah.
You are extreme, but that's
so corny.
It does make sense too, because, in the last episode we were talking, it was on Patreon, so you have to go check it out. But we were talking about planning and writing lists to save money. And that's exactly what this is. This kind of feeds off of that. It's like, I don't rarely ever. I shouldn't say it out loud, but because I'll probably have to now. But I don't go into like a home improvement store like to go do something and be like $300 right then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but by saving up and making lists, and that's what I'll do a lot of times, especially because gas prices got so high. I make a list and I go try and get as much as I can at once.
Yep.
And so it makes a difference. But you know, you can do too in like digital coupons as well. So I do. In my family, we do Ibotta. So have you heard of this?
No, I don't think so.
It's been around for a while. I'll send you a referral code. I got you. We'll both get money. But it's like digital coupons for your grocery store. And you just go through and you can see all the stuff. I mean, sometimes you're getting free stuff. You're getting discounts. I mean, you can work it right. I mean, do we go in there? They'll have like closeouts on food. And you'll get, like you were going to buy it anyways, and you'll get a discount. But you don't get a discount. You get money back so you can withdraw the money and use it in a number of ways. But it's a really good way to save money. And it's not just grocery stores. It's also gardening centers and Amazons and movie theaters and all this stuff. So that's a good one. And then like going online, anytime you buy something online, you should definitely search coupon code for XYZ, whatever. You know, like if when you go and you're like, hey, let me get a Backyard Gardens t-shirt, then you can search for it and you'll come up with BYG Spring. So you like that, didn't you? It's 25% off too. That's a good deal. But in all seriousness, I mean, you can do that and you find it now. A lot of times it used to be really good. Now it's a little scammy. So just be aware of that. But we actually made our own. We made a separate email address just to sign up for stuff to get free codes and stuff, and we never check it.
It's a great idea. Yeah. So any company I found that has offered you like a percentage off, you know, so here's the code and you'll get this percentage off. Chances are you may find almost like an evergreen or for a longer period of time than generally advertised, the percentage off coupon. A lot of places offer free shipping if you're shopping online, but some places still charge you. So there's the whole, you know, free shipping, you know, as an offer. And I can't remember when I mentioned this and to whom, but I have stumbled upon, you know, because I'm making a list on my phone. I'm also making lists as a shopping cart, leaving things in my cart. Most places don't clear your cart, although some do. But, you know, are you still there? You know, we noticed you left some things in your cart.
I hate
Here's,
those.
you know, 15% off, right? So that's a method that I use when it comes to beyond even gardening, but when it comes to making purchases.
Heard it.
I do.
Heard it.
Yeah. So I do want to, and they're not a sponsor of the show, but it's a primary space I spend time and monies in. This year, maybe going back to last year, back to Home Depot, and I assume, again, it's just based on my credit card. It may not be. It may just be email promotions. They are, because $2.99 is a lot, right? You know, US dollars. They are now offering spend $100, get $15 off, you know? And so that is, I like the idea of my $100 purchase will now be $85, you know, plus tax, you know? So,
well, as we go through like the coming years, you know, all of that free money that we got for so long is all catching up to us now. And we're going to go into a recession. But when we do that, you are going to see a lot of people trying to get your money, and they're going to be throwing stuff at you.
Yeah.
So
I thought, did you hear my stomach growling when you said recession? Yeah.
So when that happens, which should be next year, just to be clear, get ready, because they're going to be throwing, I mean, you know, you're going to be getting, because I remember where I used to live, there was a Home Depot close by, and they always had stuff like that. Lowe's doesn't have a damn thing.
Yeah,
they don't
man.
give
They're
you
just
nothing.
like,
That's
take
what I'm
what we
stuck
got.
with. Yeah. So, but you know, and that's a one way too to get me to go shop with you too. I'm going to be straight up. Like if you offer me a discount, like I'll come shop with you. You know, because those home improvement stores, they're the same. They're the same. They're no different. They're the same.
Yeah, especially with the bigger ones, sometimes they do price matching too. So consider that. Like, you know,
it can be a pain in the ass to get a match.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say though. Like I did this recently. I was buying some Timberlock nails, like screws, whatever they are, and I was in Lowe's, and it was like 16 and some change, but I had my coupon, spend 100, get 15 off. And so I said, well, I'm only in Lowe's for this one thing. I'm going to go and check out Home Depot. Like I looked at my list and decided that I had enough items to basically get to the $100. And when I got there, I normally take a picture and I didn't take a picture. So I was trying to go from memory, from what I saw at Lowe's, but it was $18 at Home Depot. And I'm like, bullshit, and so I looked and there was actually a sticker that had a $15 price point. I said, that's more in line, right? Because they're normally pretty close together. So when I got to the checkout, listen, I'm going to spend some time up there, I'll wait. And so anyway, they gave me the hardware associate came and looked and said, go ahead and give it to her. They didn't remove the old price. And I'm like, suckers, Anyway, it may take some time, but depending on who you are, where you're at, sometimes how kind you are, sometimes the fuss you make, these are your dollars, man. You get to decide how you spend them. Yeah. I'm going to move on though, if that's okay.
Well, I'm not.
Okay.
I want to say two things. One thing is always be sure when you go in the big stores that what you see marked on the shelf is what it is, because I've had quite a few things go up there and they actually try to charge you more, and then you say, hey, no, it's marked as this, and they come back and they'll give it to you for and I mean, sometimes it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
And then another thing too is when I built my arch in my front yard and my fence, I wanted to use live edge wood, but they didn't have it wouldn't fit where I wanted the way it was. So I went and I got regular lumber, but it had a messed up edge on it, a little bit of a live edge. And when I got up there to buy it, I was like, look, I'm buying this wood, but it's not perfectly square. It's messed up. Can I get a discount? And she's like, yeah, I'll give you 20% off. I was like, all right, thanks. She's like, yeah, that's the best I can do. And I was like, no, you good? Because I was going to buy it even if it was full price. I was like, you good?
Yeah.
So just know that too, especially when you're buying wood and stuff. But go on, go to your next part.
Well, to add on to that, I think that it's not as common just based on the way lumber prices have increased over the last couple of years. I was in a store recently and I'm not that great of a wood cutter, so I'm building based on whatever the dimensions are in the store. And in some cases, I'll have them cut it at the store, but then it's trying to get all that stuff home. But anywho, it was Landscape Timbers, which, I commonly use. And they had two pieces that weren't quite, I buy them in 8 feet. They weren't quite 4, they were smaller. And so I described it as what do you call it? Cut wood extras. What do you call it when the wood that they have sitting to the side? Scrap wood. Thank you. Good grief. So the scraps. And so the cashier asked, I guess the floor manager, she's like, this isn't scrap. She's like, this is perfectly good wood, but go ahead,
Yeah.
And so she gave it to me. And again, I came home, built a bed, didn't have to cut that wood at all. I'm going to move on to clearance. And this varies no matter where you are. It's not only just big box stores, big home improvement stores. It actually is your smaller stores as well. It depends on the time of season, right? So clearance items. I know you live by buying clearance items for plants, bushes, fruit trees and things of that nature later in the season. Once we're getting to end of summer, closer to fall.
Yeah, I do.
It's a great way to have a little bit of patience. Get something, purchase it. I just bought some last month, some spring bulbs, and they were 25% off. I'd seen them. I've been in the store since March. I'd seen them for regular price in March and said, I'll wait. There's going to be a period of time where it's probably 50% off, but based on my planting schedule, I went ahead and took that 25% discount and ran with it, so items that are on clearance, items that are marked down can really make your garden. I bet there's somebody out there that has created a whole garden on clearance items.
Me. I mean, because we had a place in town, ever since COVID, they stopped doing it, and or they didn't do it one year, but at one point everything was 50% off in the fall. Now it's select things, but it worked out in my favor last year. And I mean, with the bulbs and stuff, get them and stick them in the fridge. They're good next year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I've not done that, but I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, you stick them in the refrigerator and you're good. That keeps them dormant. So there's all these different ways that you can do it. Clearance, but you got to watch out for clearance because a lot of times you get some sick and disease and stuff like that. So you need to educate yourself on what you're looking at.
Yeah, everything that's for cheap isn't good. Don't get me wrong. And then depending on the store, especially again, going back to the big box stores, which I'm a full supporter of small businesses when it comes to, these things that we're purchasing. But depending on where you are and what time of year, you just may not have that as an option. But a lot of these places are like, they've stopped even providing discounts on sickly plants, or when they have a discount shelf, it's the sickest of sick. So again, let's be smart. Something that's basically has died because it hasn't been watered is, very different than something that's diseased.
And know the difference between an annual and a perennial. Because I saw somebody last year go in, October and buy like $20 in petunias. And they were, they were full and lush, man. Not hundreds, but probably like 10, 15 plants. And in November, they came on and they were like, all of them are dead. What happened? I'm like, well, you bought annuals. You got to buy perennials, so you got to know the difference. And the key is, and I think the stores don't realize it, is we have supercomputers in our pockets. You know what I mean? Like, I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, what is that plant? And I'll look it up and it's annual. Boom, never mind, perennial, got it. And you can look and see what zone it's supposed to be in too, because a lot of places, especially up in your neck of the woods, probably have perennials that aren't perennials where you live. So you're buying essentially a perennial annual, that's like, it's not going to make it. So you need to be careful about what you're doing. But yeah, when you get on those clearance racks, you can get some good deals, man.
Yep. And as you go from spring to summer to fall, like that previous blooming time, like keep an eye out for those. I'm going to move on because we're running close to time. Buying in bulk is the last one I have when it comes to you're spending money. Let's save some money while you're doing it. And we are notorious for saying, get a, soil dump, like get a dirt dump, absolutely. If you have a large enough space, right? So a single garden bed, I wouldn't do that for. But if you have a large enough space, if you're starting out a garden, if you are expanding a garden, it makes sense. I did it for the first and only time in 2019, and generally my experience was good. I do believe that even some of the things that you're buying in multiples, you see again in a lot of these stores contractor price. So if you buy X, you get it for a reduced rate. And I'm always in there doing the math, like, do I really need 16 of these?
Yeah.
But it's worth the thought, right? I may not end up buying it, and oftentimes I don't. But in the case that I do, I got it for a cheaper per item price. Yeah,
you can get like mulch and stuff like that cheaper if you buy it in bulk. So usually what I do is if it's on sale, because in the springtime it'll go on sale pretty hard at the
around some holidays in the U.S. as well.
Home improvement stores. Then it's actually a better deal to get it that way than to get it delivered or get a truckload of it. But then if it's not on sale, you can get a truckload of it. So you just got to know how. And these are all things that you learn, but it's like, oh, well, I'm not really saving that much money. And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about, if you've been listening to this whole series so far, we've got 3 episodes so far out. You could probably, I'm not even joking, let's say your average yard, we could probably save, if you use these techniques, over $1,000 a year. I would feel very comfortable saying that. Just by doing all of these different things, they all add up.
I feel for sure that I've already saved $1,000 in kind of the course. Now, again, let's not talk about how much I've spent.
Well, that's different. Yeah,
your business, but but yeah, absolutely.
Don't ask me how much my diamond watch costs. What's wrong with you? I don't even have one. But I mean, it's crazy,
I think, again, there are opportunities. I think the last item is, and I'm looking to see if this really should go into this next episode, so I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to look at you for the cue. Free programs. So this is a case where you're not spending the money. You are basically getting it from some free program. We have at least 2 in Chicago. I've forever talked about free wood chips on this podcast, right? Still a fan of free wood chips. I primarily use it for my walkways and for my flower beds as mulch. And I recently found out, and I'm embarrassed I didn't know this already, that there is a free compost program in Illinois, right? So I believe a listener but definitely a gardener has checked it out the first time they were kind of air quotes sold out, so they had given all the freeness away for that particular day. But it's definitely something that I'm going to keep my eye on and kind of see what's happening there. So if you search, you will find.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
if you share what you're doing, you'll have people that provide feedback. Yeah. And that's the way I found out about this free compost program.
When I was growing up, we got free compost and free mulch, and my parents every year, they didn't even know what they were doing, but they just kept adding it and adding it and adding it. And when it came time to plant food, I mean, dude, it would grow itself. It was unbelievable. But they did for years and years. They just added to it, Yeah. And that's what you're doing is every year you keep adding to it. And if you find these free programs, I mean, a lot of government agencies are really out to screw us, but there's also a couple that really want to help you. And when you find those, you want to really, nudge up to them and cuddle up and maybe bump elbows.
Last note, free leaves. I don't have any trees on my property, but I have countless bags of leaves.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, collect them up.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, there goes a couple ways to save you some change. So next week, we're going to talk about... Never mind, I'm not even going to tell you. You're just going to come find out. How's that?
We still have monies to be saved next week. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and remember, as we talk about all these things, this is coming up. I don't know, has the Sustainable series come out yet, or is it coming up?
Oh, good grief. Leonard...
Yeah,
I think we're kind of in the midst of it.
Yeah, so the Sustainable series is either it's going on or it's coming. So this is all kind of together. So we get a little confused on the time frame. But so you should be, if you've been listening religiously like you should be, because, it's great, then you're starting to get all of the sustainable stuff going on, and saving money is saving the planet. So, all right, everybody. Much love. Check out the first season of Backyard Kitchen, available on Tubi, and tell us if you live in Canada. We are international. Haha.
See ya.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please follow us on YouTube at Backyard Gardens TV,
Instagram at Backyard Gardens TV, over on our website, backyardgardenstv.com, and then we have Patreon at Backyard Gardens.
And don't forget to check out our links below to help the show. Thank you so much for joining us as we learn to grow and grow for change. Cut.
Now you know why people feel like celebrating at harvest time.
All over the world, people have feasting and good times when the crops have been gathered in.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the Backyard Gardens podcast.
If you like what we're doing and you want to continue to support the podcast, head over to our Patreon page to sign up.
You can also make a one-time donation using PayPal. Both of these links are in the description.
With your support, we can continue growing and helping others in their gardens. See ya.
If you guys want some Backyard Gardens gear,
go to the link below and check out our t-shirts, mugs, pint glasses, and other gear.
All purchases go towards helping to support the show, so thank you so much in advance, and we hope you enjoy. We want everybody to have a garden, and we're going to give you a chance to win free seeds every month.
Head over to backyardgardenstv.com and enter your email address to be entered in all of our giveaways.
Good luck.
We want you to be a part of our gardening community. DM us a picture of your garden at Backyard Gardens TV on Instagram, and we will share it with our listeners.